Well, this is the latest at this hour. Now, according to the Russian Defense Ministry, Russia has decided to declare a ceasefire in Ukraine or the city of Mariupol to allow residents there to evacuate from 6 a.m. GMT. Again, according to the Russian Defense Ministry, Russia has decided to declare a ceasefire in the city of Mariupol to allow residents there to evacuate from 6 a.m. GMT. Now, this is according to reports by Russian media agency Sputnik. During the second round of talks, Russian and Ukrainian delegation agreed upon creating humanitarian corridors for the evacuation of civilians. The second round of talks are held in Belarus, and there are plans of a third round of talks. But at this moment, according to the Russian Defense Ministry, Russia has decided to declare a ceasefire in the city of Mariupol to allow the residents there to evacuate. And that ceasefire has been declared at 6 a.m. GMT. And also we have the Russian news agency Sputnik reporting on the same, saying that Russia has decided to declare a ceasefire to aid in the evacuation of residents in the city of Mariupol from 6 a.m. GMT. This was decided after the second round of talks between Ukrainian and Russian delegation, which was held at the Belarus border city of Gomel. Once again, these are reports from the Russian Defense Ministry, which has said that Russia has decided to declare a ceasefire in the city of Mariupol from 6 a.m. GMT to allow residents there to evacuate. Once again, we are receiving reports from the Russian news agency Sputnik that the Russian delegation, or the Russian and the Ukrainian delegation in Belarus, have decided to declare a ceasefire in the city of Mariupol from 6 a.m. GMT to allow residents in that area or in that city to evacuate. This ceasefire is being announced to aid the evacuation of residents, where Russia is stating that it is avoiding hitting or strikes on civilians, and this is a way to avoid such strikes from happening by declaring a ceasefire in a city like Mariupol to allow residents there to evacuate or flee. Our correspondent Anas Malik, who is in Lviv, has more on this. Let's listen in.
Well, as we speak, this has been reported in the Russian media that a ceasefire has been agreed upon in the second round of talks that were held in Belarus, and that's what they are saying, that the ceasefire has come into effect starting 8 a.m. Ukraine time, and that's about since the past 46 or 47 minutes. That's what they claim. As we talk, there is no independent confirmation on the matter as we speak, whereas we expect the Ukrainian government or Ukrainian outlets to come up with a statement in a while from now. But in case if this is true, this is a major sigh of relief for the residents of Kiev, for Mariupol, for Kharkiv, for Sumy and associated areas that have been under intense Russian attack, intense Russian invasion and shelling since the past 10 days or so. We've seen a lot of civilian casualties, we've seen a lot of civilian areas being damaged as well. So this ceasefire can possibly be can be taken in light of that, giving access to civilians to evacuate these areas by utilizing this opportunity. Eric?
Well, we are receiving reports from the Russian Defense Ministry that the ceasefire is to let Mariupol residents evacuate. Again, this is information from the Russian Defense Ministry. They have declared a ceasefire in Mariupol to allow residents there to evacuate. How important is this evacuation process, Anas Malik? Because as we can see, we've seen reports in the past that the evacuation process in some of these regions, including Mariupol and the capital Kyiv, are very important at this time. But how is it, or why is it important for a country like Russia to declare a ceasefire at this moment?
Well, at this point of time, there has been a lot of resistance that the Russian forces has seen, especially in the city of Mariupol. This resistance has been that of from the citizens. Now, presumably, and I have to choose my words very carefully, that presumably the Russian side does not want any more civilian casualties. The reason they have declared this ceasefire, so that it can it would be having two advantages to its effect. One, the citizens who are resisting can leave or have the opportunity to leave, so that the Russian forces, as and when they advance, they would have a free path. That is number one. And number two, in case if there is a civilian casualty, Russia still has a fallback mechanism to say that, well, we had told you that there was a ceasefire, it was your own mistake to not leave, you had ample amount of time. That's what they can possibly claim. So therefore, this ceasefire, especially in the city of Mariupol, which is strategically important as well, therefore it is absolutely imperative, and it suits the Russian side to bolster up their image, to have something to talk about with the international community in case if the situation escalates. Eric?
Let's talk about that situation to talk about the refugee crisis in Europe. It poses a risk. It poses a risk to this continent. You have reported on the border, or at the border of Poland. Probably you can tell our viewers how dire this situation is.
Well, the situation is extremely dire, Eric, for one reason. Europe has never seen in the past 3 or 4 decades a refugee influx of this sort. Europe has never seen a crisis of this sort in the past few decades, and that is the reason which aggravates the situation, because the Europeans are not equipped to handle such a situation, be that be the refugee influx, be that be the handling of the personnel at the border, be that be the situation that the Ukrainians are in current. So by and large, that is the reason we're seeing that long and long queues, about 5 to 7 kilometers long, at the Medica crossing or at the Karacheva crossing as well, that the border of Ukraine and Poland, which is the border of Ukraine and Poland, because as I said, there is no mechanism per se that one would be allowed blanket in a blanket manner to cross over. There are checks that are in place. There are SOPs that are to be followed. In usual circumstances, these SOPs would just take a minute or two, but these are unprecedented times. These are not usual times. Therefore, longer queues, longer waiting, and thousands and thousands of people piling up. And the reason people are, those from Ukraine, they are looking this as a window of opportunity to leave their country, to flee to safety, not because they do not love their country, but because they have loved ones to take care of. For instance, I will tell you, when I was crossing a day before yesterday, I met a family, a woman, she had a 5-year-old with her, who she had managed to cross with to safety into Poland, but she had left her 70-year-old mother behind here in Ukraine, for the fact that the 70-year-old mother could not be kept waiting in the car for so long, or she could not walk this long as well. When I say she could not walk this long, that means at least 5 or maybe 7 kilometers long. So therefore, there's a gut-wrenching emotion that's there as well. As I said, Europe has never seen this. They're not equipped. They're trying to make amends, but it will take time, and the situation is evolving day by day, or rather hour by hour, Eric.
Well, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has refuted Russia's claims that he has fled to Poland. In a latest video posted on a social media platform, Zelensky said he is in Kyiv at his workplace, working. He also added that no one ran away and that he will not give up arms, as arms were his truth. The Ukrainian president video comes after Russia claimed he had fled to Poland.
Добрий вечір. Кожні 2 дні з'являється інформація, що я кудись втік з України, з Києва, з офісу. Ось бачите, я знаходжусь тут, на місці. Андрій Борисович тут. Ніхто нікуди не втік. Ось. Тож ми працюємо. Ми любимо побігати, але зараз немає часу на різні кардіотренування. Тому працюємо. Слава Україні!
Героям слава!
Смерть бігунам!
Russian news agency Sputnik reported that Russian State Duma Speaker Vyacheslav Volodin levied charges that Zelensky had left Ukraine and was in Poland. In a statement, Volodin said, and I quote, "Zelensky left Ukraine. Deputies of the Rada said that they could not get to him in Lviv. He is now in Poland." Now, Kyiv's State Service for Information Security accused Moscow of waging an information war against Ukraine and accused Kremlin of spreading fake news in Ukrainian territories it has seized. The State Service called the information false, clarifying that President is in Kyiv with his people. Last week, Ukrainian President posted multiple video messages on social media in which he said he was in the capital, Kyiv. Several countries have expressed concerns over Zelensky's safety. There were reports that the United States had offered to evacuate Zelensky, but he refused. French Foreign Minister said Paris was ready to help Zelensky if necessary.